Welcome to TIFU, the naked truth. I found some stories today I'd like to share with you, and I'm gonna bear it all. I'll be laying bare some of my own faults after each story, so get your bleach bottles ready so you can rinse out your eyes after we're done. Without further ado, let's go. So I moved into my college dorm about 2-ish weeks ago, and that means I don't have a kitchen. At home, I was able to cook anything I wanted, and I mean large varieties of meals, and I was overall a very healthy eater. This eating plan changed drastically when I moved into the dorm, because I can basically only eat what's on campus. So dining halls, or the few fast food restaurants at my university. I don't have a car, so I can't really drive to an actual restaurant. Now, I wanted to limit the amount of time I spent outside, because I don't want to get the coronavirus. So what that meant was eating a lot of meals in my dorm. When I moved in, I had a bunch of canned food and some various snacks, including a large Costco tub filled with cashews. I am currently low on canned food, in order to avoid paying for the overly priced canned meals at the campus. I've been getting more loosey-goosey about what I deem to be meal-worthy. This is where the cashews come in. For the past 2 days, I have basically been subsisting off of these cashews. I find them to be very tasty, so I eat them for breakfast, lunch, and when it's 3 p.m., I feel like I'm gonna faint. I'll just pop some in my mouth, just like a senzu bean. That way I can make it until dinner. But there's a problem with this lifestyle. The human body, it didn't evolve to consume an entire industrial-sized Costco container of cashews. Fast forward to today at 5 p.m. After my hard work at school, I pooped for the first time today. Out of all the poops in my life, so far, it was average. However, when I looked at what happened to the toilet bowl, I was shaken to my core. Apparently, when I alleviated my bowels today, my butt decided to become an elevator from that one scene in The Shining where it released a copious amount of red fluid. Now don't worry, it wasn't blood. I would be dead if that much blood left my body. A frantic Google search revealed to me that when you eat that much cashews, your body cannot digest all that fat, so it gradually seeps out throughout the day. So sure enough, I checked my underwear, and it looked like I was the first man to have a period. Well, then I got worried, and I checked my gym shorts. There was a stain on it too. So I carefully got up from the toilet. I checked my desk drawer. Sure enough, there was a long greasy red streak running down the middle of the chair. I'm too afraid to check my bed sheets. I will never eat cashews again. Yeah, I have a problem doing something similar to this, but it's usually stuff like raisins or prunes. Yeah, I really love those things. My wife and son, they don't really like them. They like grapes, but they don't like raisins. And usually if I eat too many at one time, yeah, I end up smelling really funny for quite a bit of the day. Although it's kind of comical to see their reaction every time I let one loose. I'm more than likely to be kicked out of the bedroom, so I have to sleep in the living room. And that has happened before, so I'm kind of careful about that now. My husband decided that he wanted to go ahead and chop off all of his hair. He said that being bald had many perks, and he really wanted to give it a go. I say it's more complicated than he thinks. Although 2 of the things were funny to watch. He had to wear a headband to avoid sweat coming down his face and going into his eyes, and he had to put sunscreen on his head. But the best moment, in my opinion, was when we went to bed that night. I woke up super sleepy, probably around 3 or 4 a.m. And as disoriented as I can be, I took a peek over to look at my husband. I always find comfort in knowing he's beside me. Welp, I turned. I saw the back of his freshly bald head, and I screamed. I genuinely thought it wasn't him, that it was an old, bald stranger. I completely forgot that he buzzed all of his hair off, and the poor guy was jolted awake by a blood-curdling scream. Then a few seconds later, he hears me say, "Holy f***, it's just you." I destroyed the poor man's self-esteem for the next few weeks, and now every time he mentions a buzz cut, I get a heart palpitation, thinking back on the unfamiliar look from the back of his head. He hasn't gone bald a second time, and this might be why. Yeah, I only had a buzz cut once when I was a kid. It's because my dad slipped up. He was cutting my hair with those electric shavers, and the guard popped off, and it went straight to my scalp. So, what he had to do was just go ahead and chop it all off. I hated it. I've had the idea of doing it, but yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna do that. It might be short, but I don't think I'm ever gonna cut all my hair off. That was a terrible experience in my childhood. Plus, I had terrible fashion. So while I was bald, I wore one of those fishing hats. Yeah, it looked terrible. And hopefully, all those pictures of me are lost. I'm pretty sure if I went around my parents' house, I'd probably find one of it. Now, I like to start off with a disclaimer, because of the rules including minors. This is nothing not safe for work, or anything close to that, but it was a huge mistake, and it recently happened. Now, I'm 20 years old, and I'm a man. I was asked by a very good family friend to help with some manual labor for a job. Now, my friend was offering $20 an hour, and he employed me and another close friend. The work on this project was for about 3 days. During this time, me and the other employee would be sleeping in the basement of his house. The employer is a father of two. One, a 14-year-old girl, and an 8 or 10-ish-year-old boy. Me and his daughter get along pretty well. We have similar taste in movies and so on. Because of that, I introduced the family to a TV show that I absolutely love. It's called What We Do in the Shadows, which they also loved. Now, for reasons other than the fact that we would be sleeping there with them, the father usually sleeps on the couch. And in the same room is the only staircase leading to the second floor, which is where his kids' rooms are. After the second day of work, we're watching the show until around 9 p.m. Me and the daughter wanted to keep watching, but the father wanted to sleep, so he forced us to stop. But not really. I wanted the daughter to get on Discord so that we could watch it together and just stream it. She's not very tech savvy, so the process was slow, and she insisted that I just come to her room and watch the show. Obviously, that's a terrible idea. I won't even have to tell you why. Because I really don't want that scene to happen, I just keep telling her to get on Discord. And she eventually gave in. It was laggy and muted on my end, and I really had to use the bathroom, which was basically on the second floor. So I got up and snuck outside and went up there. The daughter's room has a window right above a slanted roof. I don't know what it's called, man. I was outside anyway, so I figured I would just go to see if it was even possible to climb to the top. I really didn't want to wake her father up, so if I wasn't going to climb the stairs, climbing to the window was my only option. I thought, heck, I'm out here anyways, so let's just give it a try. It was hard, but not impossible, and so of course, I got up there. The daughter opened the window, and I stepped inside. As I walked atop the floorboards, every creak sent an alarm bell that was ringing in my mind. I knew this situation was messed up, but I was already this deep, so might as well watch the bloody show. And of course, the only place to watch it was on her bed. Let me stress now that I am not attracted to minors. I realize this situation is really messed up and stupid, and I genuinely cannot believe that I allowed myself to do this. We watched the show until 3 in the morning. I needed to get up for work later that day, so I began to climb back down. Turns out it's a lot harder to get down than up, and it was too high to jump to safety. I would either have to keep trying or sneak by the sentry just below. Obviously, I would keep trying, but the noise created from my fumbling around and the creaking floorboards, plus the daughter giggling at my attempts, woke her father up. Well, I gave up and I climbed back up, trying to figure out what to do. I could hear the sound of footsteps sliding across the carpet, approaching the girl's bedroom. I considered hiding or jumping back out the window, but that would only serve to raise more suspicion. The door slowly opened. All of my escape plans flew out the window. The father stepped into the room and calmly asked, "What's going on here?" I felt shaky and sick, and I was speechless. The daughter perked up.
"We were just watching this show."
"Alright, well, it's time for bed." Looking at me, he said, "Why don't you head downstairs?" I nodded, and I walked down the stairs. A minute or so passed before he came down. The lights in the house were off. Only the downward pointed beam of my flashlight on my phone brightened the room. The light now acted as my apparent execution grounds. The boss, the father of the daughter, who just found her in a room with an older man that he trusted in the middle of the night in his home, approached me with clenched fist. I choked out something like,
"I know what it looks like. I would never do anything like that to your family."
He unclenched his fist. I had planned to keep going, but he cut me off. "I know, but it's more about boundaries." This point in my memory isn't very clear, but I remember saying something at least like,
"I understand, and I respect you, and I apologize deeply for what I've done."
"I appreciate the respect. Now you should go to bed." So I walked down the basement steps, and when I got to the concrete floor, sudden nausea kicked in. I hadn't noticed it until after the conversation was over, and when I could think again, I really screwed up. Not an accidental ha ha ha, but a disappointingly bad string of mess-ups that probably ruined my relationship with someone that I highly respected, which will probably have worse consequences down the line. I don't expect him to forgive me, or want anything to do with me after this. The reason why I'm writing this now is because I'm so frustrated with myself, and I don't think that I deserve to sleep. I probably won't be able to anyways. Thank God I've never had that ever happen to me. You know what? I really don't doubt him. I think he's actually being truthful here. I doubt if he actually did it, that he'd actually write that story. That takes a lot of guts, because people who are usually actually into that stuff will hide it because they know the stigma. He just really screwed up. Hopefully his family friend won't cut him off from the family and they'll be friends again. More than likely that's true, and I'm pretty dang sure he's never gonna make the mistake again. This happened a couple of hours ago. I was on Discord chat with 3 of my friends, and I was in the bathroom. I was wearing a pair of not great gym shorts. I still had them from school, so I wanted to change into a better pair. For better clarification, I'm a girl, and one of my friends on the chat is a guy. Well, I proceeded to take off my shorts while the video chat was still going, but the camera was faced away from me. Unfortunately, there was a mirror. The camera was at the same level as my head, so I didn't think they'd see anything. I completely forgot that the mirror would show what was happening in the bathroom. So one of the people in the chat says,
"Why are you getting naked?"
I'm really confused at this point, and I tried to recover by saying something like,
"Oh, I'm just petting my cat,"
for some reason. Then I realized what had happened. I immediately stepped away, but it was really embarrassing. Only that one dude saw my bare butt before I realized it. Now this one person has seen my butt, and I know he's never gonna let me forget it. Oddly enough, he's probably the last person in that call that I wanted to see that. So I'm preparing myself to be harassed. Oh my goodness. Now I've only got one story here about being naked. When I was a kid, I'm saying probably from 5 to 10 years old. I don't know exactly the age, but I remember it very clearly. It was really early in the morning. I thought it was like closer to 3 or something, but apparently I was wrong. Well, I decided as a kid, I was like, hey, this would be fun if I ran around the house naked while everyone's asleep. Well, yeah, that's what I did. But then I heard people get up, and I was like, oh crap, because the bedrooms where they were situated, they were in between where I was and my bedroom, or any other room to hide in. So I had to run and hide. So the place I thought of was to run into the kitchen. And we had like a chest freezer, and the way it was angled, it kind of faced the door, but there's like this little cubby hole. You could see the cubby hole from the door, but that was my best chance of hiding. So I tucked my little butt down there so that you couldn't see me. Well, at least I didn't think you could see me. I could barely see between my legs my mom and sister going out the door, and I'm sure they saw me, but they didn't say a word. Thank God. After that point, I never tried to do that again. As you know, with all the COVID and all, no contact food delivery was happening. Basically, the people will deliver your food and supposed to just drop it off, shoot you a text, and leave it for you to pick up. Well, I thought that's what would happen. Apparently not. It was about 9 p.m., so it was dark outside, and I was hungry. So I ordered some food to be delivered, and I chilled out waiting for it. I was laying down nude and watching TV. Now, my bedroom is at the front of the house, next to the front door. My window in the bedroom is on the wall next to the front door as well. So when I look out, I can see the front porch. But in this case, my blinds were closed. Well, the food comes. I see the shadow of the delivery driver come by, bend over, drop it off, then walk away. So I decided, I'll just go get my food naked, cause, it's dark. And the driver walked away, right? Well, I open the front door, and immediately I hear,
Oh God, oh my bad.
oh crap. I look up. I notice a delivery person standing there. She is about 6 feet away, and she turned her head, covering her eyes, and I immediately hid behind the door. I didn't know what to say, so I said, sorry. And I quickly and awkwardly clarified what happened, and I went back in and closed the door. Yeah, when I used to live in the woods, it wasn't a big deal going outside, no clothes on, but there's no way you can get delivery, so that wasn't a big deal. Can't do that now, since I live in a suburb. Luckily, I haven't had to try to stop myself from going outside because, plus I don't want to traumatize my poor neighbors, so those are pretty good reminders for me not to do that. Plus my son is 16 now, and I'm never really comfortable without clothes on anyway, so it's not really a big deal. One day I got off of work and decided to do some cleaning for my wife. We were talking about how the house had become messy because we both work and we have busy jobs. Now, my mother taught me this little trick about cleaning. If you do laundry, then why not just put the clothes that you have on into the washing machine, because they're gonna get dirty anyways. Also, I like to be naked. So after dusting and sweeping and mopping and making the bed, I started a vacuum. The whole time, I was singing the Bon Jovi song Runaway and sort of dancing. Well, apparently, my wife had taken sympathy on me and decided to tell her mother to come over and help. To be clear, my wife isn't aware that I like to get naked and sing while I clean, so she didn't know that this was going to be an issue. I was not aware that my mother-in-law was going to come over until my wife came home. She looked like she wanted to die with how hard she was laughing, so I asked her what the joke was. Her response? I'll paraphrase it here.
I sent Mom over to help you clean, and she walked on you singing while naked.
And evidently, she walked in on me during my imitation of Richie's sick guitar solo. But fear not, she heard my singing. Oh, she heard it and seen it. I can't go to any more family functions anymore. My mother-in-law has seen me in all my glory. There's no going back from that. This is a disturbing thing that happened to me. I was going to my grandmother's house. This is when she lived on her own. I'm not sure exactly why I went there. Pretty sure I was doing something for Mom, picking something up. I went to the back door and knocked on the door. Now, the thing about that house was the bathroom was right there by the door, and there's no curtain on the door. Now, normally this wouldn't be an issue because the door is in the back of the yard. But unfortunately, if you're standing there by the door and someone comes out, you see everything. Well, my grandmother's in the shower and she ran out, and you just can't get those memories out of your head, unfortunately. Gladly enough, I didn't see the front, but she looked like Stimpy from the back, which is kind of a funny thought, but still disturbing nonetheless. There you go, there's one of my big secrets. I think I told my wife about it, I don't know. If she doesn't know about it now, I'm sure she's gonna know about it very shortly, because she listens to this too. Thank you very much for joining me for this edition of TIFU. Hope you guys enjoyed this painful edition, as you got to hear all of my wonderful side screw-ups and stories. Although some of them weren't really screw-ups, they were just embarrassing. Thank you again for listening, and I'll be back with you again very soon. And I'm coming back with you with another creepy story. It's kind of like a mystery, but I found it fascinating, so I'm going to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy it. So they'll be coming at you this Wednesday, and after that, I've got a neckbeard experience. This one is about Miss Piggy from the Wolfbeard saga. I had a lot of fun doing the voiceovers for it. Yeah, I did Miss Piggy, and yes, I had a lot of fun. I also did Wolfbeard's voice for a few parts of it, so I hope you guys enjoy that. It'll be part of the saga. Thank you again for listening. I want to give a special thanks to my patrons. Your help is greatly appreciated. So until next time, this is Dallas, signing off.